Welcome, ninjas. We have a very important mission today. You have to trade in your ninja gear for your detective gear because we're going to be vocabulary detectives. You can probably guess what I mean by that, right? Context clues. So we have to be able to use context clues to figure out what words mean sometimes. Sometimes authors leave little trails of information. They leave clues in the text to help us define words we don't know. But it's up to us to be good detectives and use the clues to figure out what the words mean. That's what we're going to practice today. Okay, so I'm going to give you a sentence and we're going to work through it together. Here we go. Okay, here's our first word. The vixen was not as fortunate. We need to see if we can figure out what that word vixen means. Now I want you to pause the video right here and take a minute and see if you can figure out what that word means just from that sentence. The vixen was not as fortunate. Then start me back up when you have a guess. You're back? Great. Okay, so that's not really enough information, is it? We don't have enough context. It's kind of too hard to figure it out. So we need to look at more of the text to see if we can figure out what that word means. Aha, my clues have led me to more text. The vixen was not as fortunate as her mate and was caught in the trap. Her red pelt would bring a good price. Okay, detectives, we have gathered some clues and now we have to sit and think about them and figure out how they help us figure out what that word vixen means. Okay, what do we know? Well, caught in a trap, has a mate, must be an animal, has a pelt, right? Red fur, so a furry animal with red fur, and definitely female, right? So thinking about all of those clues, what do we know? Maybe a female fox? Watson, I think we've figured it out. Amazing. You figured out that vixen is a female fox. Fabulous. So now let's look at what steps did we take that we can use again next time we need to use context clues to figure out the meaning of a word. These are the steps we word detectives use to figure out what words mean when we're not really sure. So we're going to look before, at, and after the word. If you remember, we had to look after the sentence that said vixen to figure out enough context to help us define the word. Next, we're going to predict what we think the word means. Remember that the wrong prediction is often a good start because it's a place to start and then you can adjust and keep going. 3, now we're going to problem solve what the clues tell about the word, just like we did figuring out that we had a red, furry, female animal, right? And last, remember that sometimes the context clues aren't going to give you enough information and you might just have to look up the word. That's okay, but you should try 1 through 3 on your own first. Detectives, I am very proud of your hard work today. You have completed your mission and used context clues to define the word and solve the mystery. You're going to be able to do this every time you read. So when you're looking at Tuesday's lesson, defining words on context from your BA reading passage, use those word detective, vocabulary detective steps, and you will be all set. See you next time. Over and out.